Okay, so I think we can start our session now. Let me introduce myself first because this is my first interaction with you all. My name is Prachi Nema, and from now on, I would be taking all your software engineering lab sessions. Okay, let me know if I'm audible, you can hear me, anyone can reply. Is my voice clear, students? Okay, fine. Okay, so till now, you have been doing the types of diagram in your lab sessions, all the UML diagrams and ER diagrams, as far as my knowledge. So, continuing with the same topic, the last subtopic in this is DFD. So, today we will do that. And in case you have any doubt or anything, any issue, you can tell me then and there. And if you want me to repeat as well, then also you can let me know. Okay, so let me share my screen. Don't do this leaving and joining again and again. Okay, so I will start the topic of today. The last category of diagrams. All these diagrams which we are telling you, these are supposed to be part of your SRS. SRS which you are making for your project, all the project groups that has been made, and before this, you have studied the other types of diagrams, so you must have made those diagrams for your relevant project. In the same way, this DFD is supposed to be made for your project. Okay, so you first understand the concepts and then you can proceed further. The topic is DFD. DFD is data flow diagram as it is written. Okay, talking about some prerequisite knowledge before studying further into depth. What is DFD and where is it used? I mean, in which category do DFD belong? So, when you are making a software or developing any project, you have SDLC, that is Software Development Life Cycle. Okay, in software development life cycle, there are two phases: analysis phase and synthesis phase. In analysis phase, DFDs can be used. I would repeat, you have SDLC, that is Software Development Life Cycle. In that, there are two category of phases: analysis and synthesis. Analysis is first phase, and in that first phase itself, you can draw a DFD. The highlighted text here tells you that there are various requirement analysis techniques. What is requirement analysis technique? See, when we have customers or users for which we are making our project or software, they have certain requirement, and according to their requirement we make our project. So requirements are gathered first, then those gathered requirements needs to be analyzed. So the techniques which are used for that analysis of the requirements which has been gathered are these four. First one is business process modeling notation, that is BPMN. Business process modeling notation is a standard format which is one of the oldest ones, so not used mostly nowadays. Second is UML, that is Unified Modeling Language. Till now, you have studied all the categories of diagram which belong to this UML, Unified Modeling Diagram, like activity diagram, use case diagram, collaboration diagram. All these diagrams are also technique for analyzing the requirement. Third one is flowchart. Flowchart you have been studying since the start of engineering or even before that. The flowchart are very common, and the last one, which is our topic, is data flow diagram. So like you have drawn UML diagram, flow charts. In the same way, you need to draw DFD also. They are not that difficult, easy. All the diagrams which are there, they represent the same thing. That is the requirement gathered or any information of the system. But the difference lies in the notation. What symbols do you use? What are the rules for drawing that diagram? So all diagrams are different based on that thing. Okay? Anyone want to say anything? Any doubts? Any query? No reply would mean I can continue further. Okay, I will continue. See, what is DFD? We have seen that DFD is one of the requirement analysis technique. Now, what is the definition of DFD? We will start our topic from here. DFD is basically a traditional visual representation of the information or data which is flowing within a system. This underlined part. This is the definition. See, the whole information which is circulating or flowing in the system, that information is represented using DFD. Okay. Second point is that it depicts the right amount of system requirements, but graphically. The text information is represented in graphical or pictorial format using DFD, but it will show you only the right amount of information, not unnecessary details. Okay, so this is a positive side of DFD, that all the unnecessary details are not shown, so unnecessary complications are not there. Only the required information is shown in graphical format. The other names which we use for DFD are data flow graph and or bubble chart. Bubble chart is like more often used. Bubble chart or data flow graph is are another name for DFD. Okay. Now, while drawing DFD or even before drawing DFD, you have to keep few things in mind. Those are the rules which you need to follow while you are drawing a DFD for your system. Okay, those rules are listed here. Observation is like what has been observed, so that you need to follow it. Okay, the first observation or the first rule is that all the names should be unique. That is, repetition is not allowed. All the names are supposed to be different. You cannot repeat or use the same name for two different things. Otherwise, there would be confusion, there would be complexity, unnecessary complexity. Okay, so the names which you are using, they must be different or they should be unique. Second point is that there is a difference between flowchart and DFD, because when you see a DFD, it looks like a flowchart only, but it is not a flowchart. Why? Because in flowchart, we represent the order of events, but in DFD, it do not involve any order of events. Are you getting the difference? It is saying that in flowchart, they represent order of events. What is order of events? Order of events is you need to follow step-wise procedure to make a flowchart. Like when you are on step 1 and you complete it, then after only you can jump to step 2. But in DFD, no such cases there. There is no ordering or sequencing of events. Then the third observation is that the diamond-shaped box which we use very often in flowcharts are not present in DFD. Diamond-shaped box are meant for decision-making part. They are used for decision-making when you are making a flowchart. The decision-making concept is not present in DFT, unlike flowchart. Okay. The fourth observation, the fourth point is that you cannot add or you do not add unnecessary details. That is, what is written here, it means the same, that do not become bogged down with details. That is, do not include unnecessary details in a deal. So these are the four simple points which you need to keep in mind while you're drawing. First one is names which you are going to give, they should be different. Second point is DFD do not involve any sequencing or order of events. Third point is there is no decision making component present in DFD. And fourth one is DFD do not contain unnecessary details. These four things you need to keep in mind when you are making a DFD. Okay. Now there are various components. Components are those which will make a DFD. All those things that are going to be present in a DFD diagram. Okay. The components of DFD, all the representation, all the symbols will represent, will be used for these four components only. What are the components of data flow diagram? First component is process. Process is something which takes input and delivers output. So the first component is going to be process. Second component is flow. Here flow means flow of information in the system. Flow of information within the system. Third component is store. Here store is store for data. The storage of data which we use, which you can call as, it is data repository or database. So that is going to be your another component. And the last component is terminator. Terminator is the terminator of data. See, data is going to flow within the system, in the whole system. Now you need to generate the data from somewhere and you need to end up that data somewhere. So the generating point and end point are going to be the terminators. Okay, it can be the source or sink. We will see this just now when we are going to see all the symbols used for these four components. Okay, so these four components will together make up a DFD. And what are the symbols which we use for these four components? बनाएंगे कैसे? How we are going to represent a process, represent flow of information, represent storage of data, and terminator in a graphical way. So for that we have some standard symbols for DFD which are shown in this table. Okay. So the first component is flow of data, or simply flow or data flow. It is going to be represented with a symbol which is straight line or a curved line. It can be a curved line, it can be a straight line, but it should be a line. And there can be an arrow or there cannot be an arrow. Both the cases are possible. Okay. The data flow is represented using a straight line or a curved line. Then process. Process is represented using a bubble or a circle. If you see a circle in DFD, that component is the process. That component is representing a process. Then rectangle is used for source or sink. See, I have used the word terminator in component. This last one. This terminator, as I've explained it to you, it can be source or sink of information. So for the terminator, we use this symbol, rectangle. So rectangle is going to be your terminator. It will represent the source or sink of information. or it can represent an entity. What is an entity? Entity you might have studied in ER diagram, entity relationship diagram. Entity is something which is part of your system, which is involved with the system. Like they can be people, there can be other subsystems. So all those are going to be your entity. So whether it be entity, whether it be source, whether it be sink, all are going to be represented using this rectangle. Okay. And the last component is data store or database. Database will be represented using two parallel straight lines. Okay, so two parallel straight lines are going to represent data store or repository of data. These four components or symbols we are going to use in a DFD diagram: a line, circle, rectangle, and two parallel straight lines. Okay, same thing has been described over here. See, this is first description is about circle. Circle symbol is used for process. Data flow is shown using a, I would say only a line, because it is not necessarily going to be curved every time. It can be a straight line also. So circle for process. See what a process do? It transforms data input into data output. Everyone knows that that is a basic definition of a process. Data flow is represented using line, which will represent the flow of data into or out of a process. This process will have input and output. That input and output is going to be represented using a line. Okay. Then data store or data repository is represented using parallel lines. And parallel lines will show what? That collection of data item. Collection of data item is only called data store or database. That is the same thing. And source or sink, or you can say any entity, is going to be represented by a circle, rectangle. Okay, so these are the four components and their respective representation. Now there are two note points about DFD. Before that, if anyone can tell, are you getting the things I'm telling you? Are you getting this concept? Understanding? Anyone can reply in chat box for a minute. Are there any doubts? Is the topic getting clear to you? Because we have done till now only introductory part. It's not that difficult. Okay, okay, that's good. Okay, so I will continue and we will start drawing DFD. Okay, just in some time. So there are two more points about DFD. One, I guess I've already told you. These are just 2 points which you should know. First one is that in SDLC, that is system development or software development life cycle, we have two phases I told you: analysis phase and synthesis phase. So in analysis phase itself, that is starting of the cycle or starting of the project, you can draw your DFD. You just need to gather the requirements. You need to plan roughly what your system is going to be, what your process is going to do, what will be your data repositories. So all that you can represent using your DFD. Okay, and second point is that there is a concept in DFD which is called leveled DFD. I've highlighted that. What is a leveled DFD? Like tree has various levels, a graph has various levels. In the same way, DFD would be having various levels. The lowermost level or the lowest level will represent least information, the minimum information required. And as you keep on moving up, that is from 0 to 1 to 2, you would be having even more detail. Okay, so that is the concept of leveling. What is written over here is the same thing in a different language. For easy analyzing a data flow diagram, it can be drilled down into sub-processes known as level DFT. That is, we do not make a complicated diagram of the huge software or system because there would be many components. The system can be too complex also. Like if you try to make DFD for an operating system, you cannot include all the detail at once. That would be very difficult and complicated. So that is why we start making with the least detail. And that least detailed level is the first level, which is called zero level DA. Like in array, what you do, you start indexing with 0. You start the indexing with 0, then move to 1, 2, 3, and so on. In the same way, levels in DFD will start with 0. You cannot start with 1 directly. The first would be 0 level DFD. It would be having least detail, least information. Then comes one level DFD. It would be having more details in comparison to zero level DFD. Then will come two level DFD. It will have even more detail. So details will keep on increasing when you move from level 0 to 1 to 2. Okay, so it goes like that. So 0 level having least detail, then 1 level having more detail, 2 level having more even more detail. The complexity will increase, details will increase, and more information will be included. So depending upon the complexity, the size of your software, you can choose up to which level you want to go. But mostly two level DFDs are preferred, till two level DFD. You will start drawing from zero only, but you can move to two level because this much level is sufficient to represent all the information, all the components. Okay, so let us talk in detail about this leveling concept. Levels in data flow diagram. Here I have highlighted a line which says level that represent increasing information flow and functional detail. Like I told you just now, each level would be having more detail. So levels are going to represent increasing information flow with each level and even more functional detail. So this is how it goes. More information included, more detail. More information included, more detail. Okay. Let us start with our first level DFD, that is 0. First will not be 1 level, it will be 0 level DFD. Another name for 0 level DFD is context diagram or fundamental system model. Out of these two, this is important. Zero level DFD is also called fundamental system model or context diagram. So if it is asked to draw context diagram for your project or any system, you need to draw zero level DFD. Remember this, that context diagram means zero level DFD. Okay. Now there is one rule which should be followed at every level, whether it be zero level, one level, two level. That concept is, if you are looking at this figure, this is a level 0 DFT. See, what did I told you? There are how many types of components? Four components. I will go back and show you. See, these were the four components. The four components were a straight line, a circle, a rectangle, and two parallel lines. So here in this diagram, we have a circle. Circle is used for process. So A is a process, and this will be, because these are the two straight line, and I told you they can be with arrow or without arrow. Here mostly they are used with arrows only. So here information flow is towards the process. So these x1 and x2 are going to be input to the process A. The output, because it is coming in outward directions, that is the information flowing out of the process A. This information which is flowing represented by Y, it is the output. So a process A, we can say, has two input and one output. It is represented over here. Now what does the rule says? This is just the understanding part of this diagram. But what is it? So A is a process because it is present in circle. It is represented by a circle. These two are incoming arrows. So they are going to be input to this process A, and this is the output to process A. So the rule says that if a process at a level 0 has two input and one output, and if we draw the same process A in level 1, then there should be two input and one output in the same process. Okay, so the number of input and the number of output for a particular process should be same for each and every level. This is called leveling by D macro. Okay, this is called leveling by D macro. What do you say? How do you define this rule? It says it is essential to preserve. Preserve is to just to maintain the consistency, to keep the things as it is. So it is essential to preserve the number of input and outputs between levels. This concept is called leveling by D macro. So if you are having a process A and two input and one output in level 0, then in level 1, if process A is redrawn, then it must be having two input and one. This is called leveling by D macro. Okay. Now see, this is an example of level 0 DFD. I will show you more example. One, there are two more rules which are the most important part for level 0 DFD. Before understanding this example, I want to tell you those two rules. First rule is that level 0 DFD can have one and only one process. Keep this in mind that level 0 DFD, it is not written anywhere. I'm telling you that level 0 DFD can have one and only one process. That is the mandatory part. You cannot have less than one or more than one. So only one process. And second point is that level 0 DFD cannot have any data repository. I hope you remember what data repository is. See, this was the representation of data repository, or what do you call the database? Nowadays we call it big data because lots of information is there. So data repository cannot be drawn in level 0 DFD, and there has to be only one process. Like in this example, see, there is only one process, that is student result management process represented by a circle, and there are no data repository. There are many inputs and outputs, but no data repository and no more than one process. So this is a level 0 DFT. This was a student result management system for which they have drawn a 0 level DFT. The input or the flow of information for this process will be from the administrator, from the data entry operator, from the marks entry operator. So all these information is flowing into this process, and it is generating output as the reports, the mark sheets, and performance report. Okay, these are information report and these are performance report. So like this you can draw a DFT. I will explain one better example to you. Okay, but first let us take an overview of all the levels. The next is one level DFT, a level 1 DFT. See what is written over here is A context diagram is decomposed into multiple processes and bubbles. What is a context diagram? I've told you. Context diagram is another name for level 0 DFD. So in level 1, what will we do? A 0 level DFD is going to be decomposed into multiple processes or bubbles. Why bubble? Because we represent process using a circle or bubble, whatever you want to say. So it would be having more detail. The definition for defining of this thing would be breaking the higher level process of zero level DFD into sub-process. See what they have done. They have just broke down that process, that student management process, into multiple sub-process. All these circles are multiple process which are sub-process for that main process of level 0. Secondly, there are many data repository also included here. Between these parallel lines, what is written, that is the name of the data repository, like marks details, student details, student subject choice detail, user account information, subject information. So all these are repositories. So two things which we noted in level 1 DFD is that there can be multiple processes, so many bubbles are here, and there can be data repositories also. It is not necessary unless it is part of your system. Okay, it is not necessary to include. So all these are data repositories and these are the multiple processes. And the rest of the part is the information flowing in the system. For the same, I will explain you a better example. So if you're not understanding this, it's okay. Just now we are going to take next example. Then after one level DFD will come what? Two level DFD. And two level DFDs goes one process deeper. That is, they have even more information than one level DFD. Okay? For the same example, what they did, they picked up different modules of the system and they have drawn a DFD for it. Like for user account maintenance, they have drawn this DFD. For login, they have drawn this DFD. For student information management, why they did so? Because they cannot draw that diagram. They could not draw that diagram all together. So they split it into parts, then drawn the diagram, and now we can combine them back. Okay. This is another way that you can, because level 2 will contain lots of information, more details than even level 1 DFD. So if it is getting complicated, you can just separate it into modules and later when you need to show all together, you can just combine. This is about level 2. Okay. Level 3 would be having even more detail, but as I told you, till level 2 you can use. Further going deeper is not necessary unless and until your system is too complex. Okay, so getting the things, is there any doubt? We are going to see few more example, then we can start making DFT. Do someone want me to repeat, or are there any doubts? Okay, I hope that, I think that there are no doubts. I will continue. See, another example which will make your understanding more clear about DFD is, we will take example, we will see how to draw the DFD stepwise, but before that we need to know that why do we start making from zero level DFD? Why don't we directly jump to one level DFD? I have told you, but more clear explanation is given in these 3 points. See what the first bullet point says. It says that it is simple to draw because level 0 DFD has only one process. It do not have data repository, so it is easy to draw. So for the simplicity, we start drawing from level 0 DFD. Then second point says that no technical knowledge is needed to understand 0 level DFD. If you will draw directly level 1 or level 2 DFD, then it is going to be very difficult for your user or customer to understand it because that person is non-technical person. So for the sake of understanding, we start drawing from level 0 DFD because it contains least detail, the least technical detail we can put. Okay, so that is why. And the third point says it shows the system boundary. How do it show system boundaries? Because there is going to be only one process for the ultimate output and the first input. Those are going to be the boundaries. So it shows the system boundary. Okay, otherwise, if you draw the sub processes, if you have multiple processes in your system, then there would be like many input, many output. So you cannot predict the system boundary easily. But in level 0 DFD, you can have clear view of the system boundary. These are the three reasons why you should start drawing your DFD with level 0. Okay. Now for constructing a DFD, you can have this concept in mind, this process in mind, that you need to follow 3 4 steps and then you can draw your DFD easily. What are those 4 steps for drawing a 0 level DFD? Step 1 says that you need to define the process first. The first thing which you are going to do is define the process. Like you can see here, this is an example of level 0 DFD for clothes ordering system. See, clothes, this is a DFD drawn for clothes ordering system. Clothes ordering system, like few examples we can take from our daily life, that is clothes ordering system can be Mintra, Jabong. Jabong is not there, I guess. Ajio, Amazon, Flipkart, all those are clothes ordering system only. Okay, so because those are online systems, so you are more quite like you frequently use it and more familiar with it. So we can consider those as example of this clothes ordering system. Then you will understand it more better. So clothes ordering system has been made as a process. This is the image, this is the diagram of level 0 DFT. Why? Because it has only one process. You can just look at the diagram and then decide that it is level 0 or more into deeper level like 1 or 2. But just by looking at the diagram, we know that there is only one process and there are no data repositories, so it is level 0 DFT. So the first step was to define the process. Here we defined the process, that is first you will draw this circle, clothes ordering system. Then second step is creating a list of all external entities. See, what are entities? Entities are the terminators, I've told you. They can be people, they can be system. So apart from the process, all the systems which are involved, they are going to be entities like customer, the one who will order the cloth and who will get the receipt or the order summary which you get. Then another entity is clothes supplier. Clothes supplier is the one who will supply to this system. See, clothes ordering system is ordering from this supplier and it is giving a receipt for the order this system has placed. The same way, another entity is clothes store. Clothes store can simply place the order here and they can deliver even to maintain the stock in store. They can order from the system. And the last type of entity is sales manager. Sales manager is going to manage the whole system. So all the management reports will be that information is going to flow to sales manager. This is how you make. Okay, so step one was defining the process. How many circles are you going to take? Because this is level 0 DFD, so we did not had option. We can take only one circle. Then step two is creating the list of all the entities, that is the people and system involved. Step three is creating a list of the data flow. Once you have your circles and rectangle, you need to connect them using data flow lines. And lastly, when you have all this, you can simply draw the circle. Oh, sorry, diagram. Okay. So this is an example of level 1 DFT. Just take a look for a few seconds, then we will jump to level 1. I hope it is clear now. This example was much better and easier to understand. So this is your level 0 DFT. Okay? For clothes ordering system. A simple example we took. Now let us see system, the same system's level 1 DFT. We will take an example of level 1 DFD. It is going to be the same system, but the will be different. Why? Because level 1 DFD can have more than one process, and it can have data repositories also. Okay, so it will contain more deep levels, and it can contain data stores. So the step-wise procedure will change a little bit. See, in previous DFD, that is level 0 DFD, we had 4 steps, but here count of steps has increased to 5. Let us see how. Step 1 is define the process, but not a single process. Here there are going to be multiple processes. So it's written define the processes. Okay. So you can have main process and sub process. So that is the first step. Second step is same. You have to create a list of all the entities, that is the people and system involved in your system. Okay. Step 3 here is a new one which says you need to create a list of the data stores. You did not have data store in level 0 DFT, but now you can have data repository or database in level 1 DFT. So the third step says you need to include the data store or databases of your system. Fourth is same, you need to create a list of the data flow, that is the information flow. Okay, that is the information flow which would be there in your system. And the last step is when you have all the components, simply combine them and draw it out. Okay, these are the 5 steps. First one is process selection. Second one is entity selection. Third is data store selection. Fourth is creating all the links, that is the data flow. And fifth one is drawing the diagram. See, this is the diagram for level 1 BFD for same clothes ordering system. It is a diagram, level 1 DFD diagram for same clothes ordering system. Here step 1 was to select how many process you are going to have. See here there are 3 circles, 3 bubbles. So you are going to have order clothes process, generate reports process, and order inventory process. Or you can say sub process, because the complete process has been divided into these. So order clothes, generate report, and order inventory. These are the 3 processes which you are going to. Second step was to select the entities. Here entities are same as the previous one. Customer, clothes store, supplier, and sales manager. Okay, so these are the 4 entities. Third step was taking taking or considering the data repository. Here, this notation is used for data repository. It can differ a little bit, but mostly the standard notation is using two parallel lines. So the two data repositories here included are inventory, where all the stock will be there, and order. Order will keep the information of data about all the orders that are being placed and delivered, dispatched, everything. Okay, so two repository, four entities, and three processes it has. Now the fourth step is showing the information flow. So all the information which is flowing, so components are connected, which needs to be connected. It is not necessary to connect all the components with each other. Only the necessary parts will be connected, and that is the information. जिन components के बीच में information flow हो रहा है, you need to connect only them. So like customer will place the order and it will get the bill from order close process. Order close process will order clothes from the store. Order close process will order from the will give the information of the order to this database or data repository. All the details which has been gathered till now will be given to the inventor. So like that information will flow in the system. So the flow of information is done and lastly a diagram can be drawn. So deciding all these one by one and then connecting them will ultimately lead you to your final DF. So this is level 1 DF. Okay. Depending upon the complexity, you can even increase the level, but it depends upon how complex or how many features your system has. This is an example of level 1 DFD. Now comes main part, that is the question how to create data flow diagram. You understood everything? Okay, I hope you understood. So if you understood everything, now there should be a question in your mind, how are we going to draw? With pen and paper? No. Pen and paper is old school technique. You have many softwares which are freely available. You can access them for free to draw DFT, which are listed over here. Lucid Chart, Smart Draw, Visual Parting, and Real Time View. Among all this, Lucid Chart is a good option. It is user friendly and it is available for free, so you can use it. There's no training needed for that. There's no extra knowledge you need for that. Okay, you if you know about DFD, you can draw. If you know about your software, you can draw which components to include, which not. So like that. Okay, they have pre-ready templates which you can use and draw your DFD easily rather than doing it manually. Okay, so the conclusion of this topic is that you have various different level DFD, and with each level the details keep on increasing. So depending upon your need, the software you can go till that particular level. Okay. So now I would like to ask you again, are there any doubts? Students, are there any doubts? You want to ask me anything? What should I consider to? Okay. No. Okay then. Okay, I'm going to show you how do lucid chart interface look like. I just need a moment, then we will see. Okay. Okay. So screen visible. I think. See, this is how lucid chart looks like. You can register for free. You, you would be making. Why I am showing you all this, because now what you need to do is, you have got your projects, you know everything, you have made previous diagrams also. So now for your particular project you need to make DFD, a level 0 DFD. Okay, that is why I am showing you all this, because just now I told you that lucid chart is one of the option to use to draw DFDs. So when you will go to lucid chart, you can select that option that you need to draw a DFD. So I have drawn this previously. This is an example just. So you can pick, see, there are all the shapes available. And if you want to add, like if you want to even draw anything else, you can use this. Like if you want to add ER diagrams. Okay, they have circuit diagram under. You can draw use case, I guess. UML. They have a whole category of UML. Okay, so UML use case, UML state activity diagram, UML sequence diagram, component diagram, deployment diagram, entity relationship diagram. So you can draw all this. Just see, like I want to use this. Just select this and use selected shape, then you can add it to your dashboard here. It will be added like I have added data flow. Okay, I wanted to draw DFD, so I have added all these data flow. So this even tells you that which symbol is used for what. Like this is used for entity, this is used for process, this is used for data store. We can have different symbols also. Okay, so depending upon what standard you are following, like we have seen that for process we would be using this. You can use this as well. Okay, but you need to be clear that you are not confused. So like that, you can just pick that and draw it. Okay, for the data flow part, just draw a line like that. Okay, and you can even label it. You can write anything here. Okay, so like that you can draw, connect, and make your DFD in this music. This is a very friendly interface, you can use it. So now what I want you to do is, now what I want you to do is that you all have your project clear with you, like clear in your mind. So you should make a level 0 DFD for your relevant project. I hope I'm clear. Now you need to make, because you all understood, I'm assuming that. So now you need to make 0 level DFD for your project. I'm giving you some time to do so. Do you have any doubts? I'm asking you again. Then after you can start making your DFD. Any doubts? No replies will be considered as no doubts. Okay, good. Then you can try making zero level DFD.